Welcome to the Moms of Tweens and Teens podcast. If some days you doubt yourself and you don't know what you're doing, if you've ugly cried alone in your bedroom because you felt like you're failing, well, I just want you to know you're not alone and you have come to the right place. Raising tweens and teens in today's world is not easy, and I'm on a mission to equip you to love well and to raise emotionally healthy, happy tweens and teens that thrive. I believe that moms are heroes, and we have the power to transform our family and to impact future generations. If you are looking for answers, encouragement, and to become more of the mom and the woman that you want to be, welcome. I'm Cheryl Gould, and I am so glad that you're here. Hi, friend. Welcome to the Moms of Tweens and Teens podcast. I am so glad that you're listening in or you're watching this today, because what you're going to hear today, I think, is going to blow your mind, because I know it blew my mind when I heard what was shared by our special guest, Shelley Branine. And I believe that this information could open so many doors and truly change the future for our kids everywhere. And what Shelley is going to share is how students can avoid college debt entirely by completing college while they're still in high school. And it's not complicated. You do not have to have a kid that is a genius or even a great student to do it. Her upcoming book, Finish College and High School, is set to release in early 2026, and it outlines, and she shares that here, a practical, proven approach to earning a degree without carrying the crushing weight of student loans. Shelley is a truth seeker, a freedom fighter, a wife, and a warrior mom of two amazing daughters, one of whom earned her college degree just a week before finishing high school. And she is deeply committed to making sure that every student who dreams of college has a chance to pursue it without being burdened in debt. Through her advocacy and passion, she's challenging the financial crisis that has plagued young adults for generations. So, how can this alternative path be the key to long-term success in both education and career? Well, you'll want to lean in and listen to this episode. It's not what you think, and I wish that I would have known this when my kids were going through high school, because it would have benefited us in so many ways. So let's dive in. Well, welcome, Shelley, to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to be here for a long time, so thank you for having me.
Well, you are so welcome. And I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about, because it's really going to help parents with their kids and the whole college process. And what we're going to talk about is things that I don't think very many of us know is available. And I want you to just share a little bit about your personal story, what you learned and during COVID with your daughters, and the huge difference that it's made in your life, and why you're wanting to get this word out to other parents. So just, I guess, start from the beginning, like whatever, wherever you want to start.
Okay. So my daughters both graduated from college a week before finishing high school, and it cost us literally nothing.
What?
They are not.
Okay, wait. Okay, say that both of your daughters graduate from college before they graduate, a week before they graduate from high school.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
Now moms, don't stop listening, because this is not something that your kid cannot do. That's what we're going to learn during this time. So you might think, oh, my kid is Not motivated. My kid wouldn't do that. Just listen because it blew me away. Okay, keep going. I had to just slow that down.
Yeah. Yeah. So they did, and they are not geniuses. They are not valedictorians. They are just regular kids. My oldest daughter has a disability that has always required accommodations and extra support. And she still graduated college a week before finishing high school.
No, that is like mind blowing. And
Yeah,
she was motivated to do so.
she was. Yeah. Yeah, she was.
Oh,
She
yeah.
actually preferred the college classes to the high school classes.
Okay. All right. So there's a word for this. What do they call it?
So it's called dual enrollment. That's the most common term for it. Different states use different terms. Some will say early college, some might say concurrent enrollment, dual credit, but the most common one is going to be dual enrollment. And it's basically when the students are taking college classes while they're in high school and earning college credit in high school. And it is free, 100% free.
100% free.
For the
How?
most part, yeah. So I should let me rephrase that. So for the most part, it is. Every once in a while, a school might say the parent needs to pay for books or fees. In our case, though, it was almost entirely free. So it will cover the bulk of the expense.
Okay. So when I heard this, I originally thought, but there's a lot of myths you talk about on your website and on your Instagram. I originally thought dual enrollment meant that you were doing high school class, and in addition to that, you were taking college courses. And that's not how it works.
No, I mean, students might be taking a high school class as well, but if a student is taking college English while in high school, that's going to count as a high school English class. So
Okay,
it's not in addition to.
that's what blew me away. I'm like, you mean I could have had my kid take a college course for English, which was my oldest daughter. She got a perfect score on her SAT English. She was a phenomenal
Wow.
writer. Like I could have let her take English classes at the local college instead of her high school and gotten college credit for it. And
Correct.
it could have been free.
Yes,
Now,
it
this
could
is
have been.
like the best kept secret. Nobody's
It's
talking about this.
I know, and we need to spread the word, moms, because it is absolutely incredible what our kids can do and the amount of money that we can save and just the education that they will get by doing those college classes. Like for example, my kids, once they took 2 college classes, both of them came to me and said, "Mom, I don't want to take high school classes anymore. All I want to take is college." Because the experience is just so much better. They just really, really enjoyed the college classes over the high school ones.
Wow. And okay, so I'm going to say what I think most of the moms that are listening are going to say. So they're going to say, "Oh, all right, that sounds great, but what about homecoming? What about I don't want them to miss out. So does that mean that they don't go to school every day?"
No, because they're participating through their high school, they can still participate in all of those things that they have at the high school. So homecoming, prom, sports, clubs. My daughter was student council president while she was taking college classes. So they can have the full high school experience and just be taking college classes instead.
Wow. Okay. So does that mean you get out, you have half days? Does that mean like, did she go to, now of course, some of that was during COVID, but did she go in the morning and then the afternoon she took her college courses?
So yeah, it depended on the school just worked around like when she wanted to take the college credits. So she would decide which college classes she wanted to take and what time she wanted to take them. And then the school just built her schedule, her high school schedule around that.
Wow. And do they push back?
They can. So that's why I always tell moms, you need to go to your school and you need to tell them this is what I want. Um, There are a few reasons why they might push back. Sometimes they don't want that money leaving the school and going to the community college because they technically have to pay for the classes. But every single state, as far as I know, has dual enrollment as like a requirement for schools. So your public schools, your charter schools, they should honor you wanting to have your kids take dual enrollment because all of the states basically mandate it.
That's incredible. Okay, so I do have friends, their kids went to community college for a couple of years, and then they went on to other schools for their junior, senior year. Can you do that with dual enrollment?
That's exactly what my kids did. Yeah, they got their associate degree through the community college, and then they went to 4-year degrees to finish to the university to finish their 4-year degrees.
Okay, all right. Wow. So when they graduated, what did they have when they graduated from high school? They had their college.
So my youngest daughter had an associate of science degree, and then my older daughter had an associate of arts degree, along with their high school diploma.
Okay. And what does that, when you have that, then what does that open doors for?
Well, the cool thing was because they both had associate degrees going into college, it was really easy for them to find a job while they were in college. I mean, they would basically just tell these employers, look, I already have 2 years of college under my belt. I'm 18 years old. And the employers are like, we want to hire you right away. So that was really beneficial. They also, though, because they had had so much college background in high school, going to college really was not a challenge for them at all. They knew the rhythm, they knew the expectations, they knew how the classes worked. So other than adjusting to like dorm life and being away from home, it really wasn't much of an adjustment at all. They knew college studies.
Gosh, it's just amazing. And okay, so a lot of moms that are listening, kids take AP classes. And that's the what that I work with so many moms that's kids are really stressed out taking AP classes because they are feeling that pressure, unbelievable pressure to get into certain colleges. And a lot of these kids put a lot of pressure on themselves to get into these colleges. And the parents even are like, you don't need to take the AP class, like, and get more stressed out. What would you say? How do you compare AP classes, which you have a really funny video on your Instagram, a reel on your Instagram that talks about what guidance counselors will often tell you. Why would I want to do dual enrollment versus have my kid take an AP class?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So AP guidance counselors will often push your kids toward that. And again, moms, I say be aware, know that they're going to push your kids toward that. But it really isn't the best option for most kids. And let me tell you why. First of all, like you said, they are very stressful. I mean, kids just stress themselves out. Those are year-long classes with one big test at the end of the year. If your kiddo is having a bad day, if they get sick and they don't do well on the test, they cannot retake it and they will not get college credit for it. The other thing is that so those are year-long classes, only 1 in 5 students will get a full year's worth of college credit after taking an AP class. So most kids do not get a full year credit for it. With dual enrollment, all you have to do is get a C in a class and you will get a semester of college credit. So take 2 semesters of college credit, get a C, you're going to get that college credit. It's going to easily transfer. Now, I don't recommend that kids strive for a C, obviously, but it is far easier than AP. Far less stress. My kids thought it was so much fun. That my kids didn't take AP classes, but so they couldn't compare it, but they were not nearly as stressed as their friends were who were taking those AP classes.
Yeah, and they get that experience of college too. And yet, see, because that would be one of mine. I'd be like, well, I don't want them to miss out on the sports or on being if they want to be student council president or whatever they love to do. That is not the case.
No, they can still participate in all of that. All they're doing is just either going to the community college and taking classes there during the day, so leaving the high school. Or some high schools now are bringing community college professors right to their campus, if you can believe that. So kids can just take them right there on campus. They don't even have to leave. So there are so many options for it. Parents are beginning to wake up and realize it really is just the best thing for kids and the best experience. Like my kids, I will tell you, they are so funny. They both love taking college classes, and their favorite teacher of all time was one of their college professors that they had while they were in high school. My oldest daughter, she took a class during COVID. So it was during COVID. It was a creative writing class with the community college. This professor managed to turn that classroom into a supportive group of kids just supporting each other during that time. She literally cried when that class ended because it was so impactful to her, that teacher and that class and that community. My younger daughter, her favorite teacher was an anatomy instructor, and he was this tatted up chiropractor, had all these tattoos, and he was just so fun and so just dynamic. And to this day, she can tell you every single part of the human body. Because she was just enamored by that teacher. They both just had, and it was just so different than high school where you have the kid over here who's not paying attention and the teacher who's trying to keep doing the best they can, but trying to keep everybody in line. And you're sitting and waiting for the bell to ring. Just a totally different experience.
Did you find that it really built your girls' self-esteem?
Yeah, that's a really that's a really good point. I do. I think it did. I think it made them very confident to be able to say, I'm taking college classes. And I mean, as a 16, 15, my youngest was 15 when she started, for them to do that. And my youngest too, she actually, her senior year, she decided she was just done with high school altogether and just went and enrolled in a college in downtown Denver. She wanted to do college level sports there. And so as a senior in high school, 17 years old, she went and did that because she just loved it so much. Now, I don't expect every kid, my oldest daughter would have never wanted to do that. She's much more of a homebody. But yeah, it was very empowering for them, so much so that she felt like she could just go to college downtown Denver, a full-time student, quit high school completely.
It seems like it makes so much sense because why not, if you can, if you're taking English already, just not take a college English course and have it replace it. It feels like we're wasting so much time and money
We are wasting so much time and money.
and
You said that
energy.
perfectly. Yes, and energy and stress. Yes, that's
And stress
exactly
of getting into the right school when here you have this to show to the colleges that you would want to go to, and it's taken the place of your classes that you would have to take anyway.
right. And the colleges see, oh, you have completed 2 years of college. We know you will be successful. We don't have to wonder. So my kids, when they applied, every single college they applied to accepted them because they were like, we know we're not worried that you're not going to be able to do this.
Wow. So you have a personal story that I would love you to share. I didn't get when we talked a while before we got on here, but I didn't get to hear it. But there was other reasons that this really lit you on fire. So can you share a little bit of your own story?
Yeah. So, my husband and I both graduated college in our early 20s with $50,000 in combined student loan debt. And it just wrecked us. At that time, we really didn't have a Dave Ramsey or anybody really in our life who could help us understand how to navigate that. We also had jobs and we had an income that really couldn't sustain that kind of debt too. I was a teacher, he was a radio broadcaster, and then just the money that we were making and that debt was so overwhelming, and we were so We struggled for years. I mean, just years we struggled and just trying to make ends meet. And during that time, I prayed every day. And I prayed, I really, I just asked God, I said, I don't want my kids to experience this. If I can do anything, if I live my whole life struggling with this and I can make sure that they don't experience this, that would be the greatest gift you can give me, God. And literally, I prayed 4 years that prayer.
Mm.
And then when we were about to get ready to put them in high school, we found this opportunity, and I knew that was my answer. So they thankfully did it in high school, and then they finished up their degrees and graduated completely debt free. And it was just this gift that God gave us. I know it was.
Wow. What a powerful story. And I think about how much, with my husband and I, how expensive it was with our three kids to go to college and not
It
wanting them to experience that debt.
right.
But it ate up so much money. And then there's been some turns in my husband's work where that a lot of that money was our nest egg. And money that we had set aside, but you have a downturn and you have all that, you're paying out a lot of money for your kid. Or if they're taking on that debt, they want to get ahead. It makes it
Right.
so hard for them to, you can't get a house, you're trying to work 2 jobs. It's just very, very stressful. And it puts a lot of strain on a marriage too.
It absolutely does. And a lot of parents don't realize, like you said, how expensive it is. They don't realize that the price of college has outpaced inflation by 500%. So it is far more expensive than anything else. It's gone up so rapidly. And so parents don't realize that, and they think, oh, we'll figure that out later.
Oh, yeah.
And then later comes and they get there and they're like, what in the world? It wasn't this expensive when I was in school. But it is. It's so very expensive. And so any opportunities to save money on college, I think people should just take, because it's insane.
Yeah, and you're simply just having them take these classes that actually replace what they're already taking.
Right. Yeah.
And
So they're
I've
yeah.
repeated that. I know everybody. I've repeated that like 4 or 5 times because it's like, why didn't I know this? I think that, my kids would have done great with that option, especially my oldest daughter, who really had no interest in school. And if
Yeah.
she could have gone into a college and taken her English classes I think it would have really motivated her more. And even for the kids, like if somebody's on here and you have like an ADHD kid or an unmotivated kid that you're like, oh, they're bored.
Right.
What a great
That's
option for those kids.
It is. And a lot of parents will say, oh, my kids could never do it because they're ADHD or because they hate school. But the truth is, they could do very well in it for that reason. I was that student. I hated high school. I hated it with everything in me. I hated so much about it. I just wasn't Susie High School. And everybody told me you'll never do well in college. You'll never make it. But my very first semester of college, I got like a 4.0 and I
Yeah.
graduated with a very low GPA from high school. But it's just different. The schedule, you pick your teachers, you pick your classes, you go to class maybe 2 times a week, and then you're on your own for the rest of it. You are treated like an adult. In high school, you're treated how to be an adult.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
college, you're treated like an adult. And a lot of kids just really like that.
Wow. Okay. So you're coming out with a book.
Yeah.
And I want you to tell them, they're listening. They're like, okay, well, tell me, where do I start? What do I do? Because your book, we want them to get your book when it comes out. When do you think it's going to be out?
January.
Oh, good. Okay, we'll
Yeah.
push this one closer to when it comes out. What's it going to be called?
Finished college and high school.
Wow. Well, that says it all.
Yeah.
So finish college and high school. Okay. So tell us how do you get started?
So I would recommend that if you want to get started on this, go to your start with your school and start with the guidance counselor and just tell them, look, we want to take full advantage of dual enrollment or whatever they call it. They might call it concurrent enrollment, early college. They'll understand what you mean. And just tell them, how can we do that? How can you help me make that happen? And then usually that's all it takes. The guidance counselor will say, okay, this is how it works at our school. They might have you go to like a webinar where you kind of learn some of the rules about it and things like that. But then the guidance counselor should kind of take it over and make it happen for you. So if you don't get that help, then I recommend maybe going to the district and kind of checking out what the district's policies are, or even your state department will have information on dual enrollment, concurrent enrollment on their website, so you can see what the state has too. But one other thing that I want to point out is a lot of states now are creating what our state calls early colleges, and that's just a high school. It's a regular old high school. Often it's a charter school, and functions like a high school, but all they do is college classes, and all they do is prepare kids to be able to be successful in college classes. So usually those kids are the ones who are going to graduate with an associate degree. Some even graduate with a bachelor's degree. If you can imagine that, it does happen. So those kind of campuses are like dual enrollment, like on steroids.
Okay. And what are those schools called?
In Colorado, they're called early colleges. But it just depends on what the state calls them. But you'll just want to look for a high school that functions just like a high school. It's just high school kids, but all they do is focus on getting those kids college ready and getting as many college credits in as possible.
Huh. Have I forgotten anything that you would like, any questions to ask you? Anything else like myths or a lot of objections to this that you would want to speak to?
The only thing that I really like to speak to is, and you can cut this out if you want to, if you're not, but I really like to make sure parents are aware of the student loan industry. When I started researching for my book, I really didn't know a lot about student loans. I just knew that I had them and they made my life miserable. Other than that, I really didn't know a lot about them. However, in doing the research, I stumbled across information that terrified me. Basically, with student loans, what every parent needs to know is that all consumer protections have been removed from them. So,
So what does that mean?
So think about products like tobacco or Roundup. Those products did a lot of harm to a lot of people, right?
Mhm.
And we were able to sue them for that because they were destroying people and hurting people and killing people. Student loans do not have any of those rights. So they're going to get so basically there's no way to get out of those. If you have any sort of hardship at all, there's no protections. They can basically abuse you, take your paycheck, your income tax, all of that. And we're giving student loans to 18-year-olds, 18, 19-year-olds. Their frontal cortex is not fully developed. That is impulse control, reasoning, planning. And yet we're giving them these student loans like they're candy, and they have no consumer protections. So I just caution parents, if you decide to go that route, stay with your kids throughout the entire process. From the day they walk into that financial aid office, through graduation, through the time that they pay them off, because people's lives are being wrecked. You can go to websites like the Student Debt Crisis. My favorite one is Student Loan Justice. And you'll just see stories of people whose lives have been completely ruined. And I think that it is intentionally hidden from the public. Um, so I just say parents be very, very careful. It doesn't matter, and I know you're going to agree with this, Cheryl. It doesn't matter if our kids are 2 or 22, they are our babies, and we have to protect them, especially when we're giving them something that has no protections at all.
Yeah. And it's a business for them. So just
It
the amount of
is.
interest, if you can't pay it off, the amount of interest that they charge you.
The interest accrues faster than you can pay it off. So, I mean, it'll double what you owe will double, triple, quadruple really fast.
Mm.
So just be very careful, moms. Be very, very careful.
Oh,
Protect your
and yeah,
babies.
yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And then scholarships. So we go, okay, well, they don't need to do this. It's just, I'm going to just get them scholarships. And there's so many, and you have some things to say about scholarships.
Yeah. So also when I was doing research, I came across a guy named Mark Kantovitz. He's brilliant with numbers and money. He's part of the college investor team. And we've all heard, oh, billions of dollars in scholarships go unclaimed every year. So my kids should be getting these scholarships really easily. But that is not true. That is a myth. That was based on a study that was done 50 years ago, and it had to do with employee tuition benefits. It had nothing to do with scholarships. So they are not as easy to get as we keep hearing. They're actually really hard to get. Um, so that's why I really encourage parents to look at dual enrollment and don't just assume, oh, I have a really bright kid, and I'm sure they are. I'm sure your kids are amazing. They're just scholarships aren't as plentiful as they want us to believe. So and I learned that this the hard way. My oldest daughter, I made her apply for every scholarship she could, her senior year. And she spent, oh, I feel so bad even saying that I did this to her, but she would spend 2 hours every day applying for every single scholarship. And she had great grades. She was student council president. She started her own nonprofit. I mean, she had the works. And I thought she'll definitely get scholarships. And she ended up with partial academic scholarships and another private award. And when my younger daughter went and she started applying for scholarships, I was like, I'm not going to do this to my poor child. We're not going to make her apply for all these scholarships like I did with my oldest. And so she just applied for 2 scholarships. That was it. She got both of them and ended up with the same amount of scholarship money as her sister.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So I always just say, give your kids some grace on the scholarship thing. They're definitely apply. The ones that are easier to get are going to be the ones that are through your high school, through the university that your kids are going to go to. Anything in your community, just because the pool is more narrow. If the parents have a scholarship through their work, those are going to be easier to get. But these national, like the Coca-Cola scholarship, it's nearly impossible. It's like playing the lottery.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, one of my kids got a scholarship for sports, but that was really tricky. He played Division I baseball. He
Wow.
got drafted. He actually went on to play with the Oakland A's just for a short time before he decided he didn't want to do it. But he was very, very good
That's
and
amazing.
very talented. But I just want parents to know that depending upon, I don't know, I don't claim to know how all sports work, but for him, he was a catcher.
Okay.
They only have so many positions at different universities for catchers to need a
Right.
catcher. And then, so you decide, so he had all these schools that wanted him, but he decided to go with one and told all the other ones no, and then ended up, he didn't get accepted by the one that he really wanted. It's
Oh,
like a racket. It really is a racket.
it
And
really
yeah, because
is.
it's kind of dishonest. You almost have to tell all of them that you want to go there. And he just we didn't feel like that was right. And then he ended up not getting in there. So that really affected him as far as getting a scholarship, because then there was a little bit of desperation there, right?
Yeah.
So He did end up getting a partial one, but still, he went to William Mary, which ended up being perfect for him. It was wonderful. I can't say enough good things about it, um, but he didn't get the full ride, being
Ex-
this really talented athlete. So, you think, oh, my kid, we were like
right,
great college and scholarship, and that didn't
right,
end up working. And then our other daughter, she got a leadership scholarship, but it was such a small amount that it really didn't leave a dent.
right,
So
right.
I really love this whole concept of dual enrollment. I love it. And, so I'm excited. And so how can they start? Can they reach out to you? Can they email you? Tell them where to find you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
we'll
you
have
can,
all the links, and we'll end up, if people are listening to this, we'll put the link in so they can get your book, follow you when it comes out.
yeah, that I would love that. Yeah, so you can get in touch with me. You can go to my website. That's shelleybranine.com. And I have lots of information there now for you. So if you want the information right now, wait for the book, but know that the information is there. And then I'm also on all the socials too. It's just at Shelley Branine. So
I
you can
love
reach out
it.
and you can email me through my website.
Thank you so much for what you're doing and the change that you're going to bring about. You're going to get the word out. Parents are going to know this is available to them. This is an option. And such an amazing alternative that I think everybody should grab onto and take advantage of.
Yeah, I just want to share one final story. This is my favorite one. My kids had a friend who was um he was working on an associate degree, and he actually dropped out one class short of an associate degree. And I'm sure his parents wanted to kill him. But because he was doing dual enrollment, it didn't cost him anything. And he was able to say, you know what? I don't want to do college. This isn't for me. He wanted to be a carpenter instead, which is great. But he didn't have the price tag of starting a degree and not finishing it. And so why not try before you buy?
Try before you buy. I love that. Yeah, because that's another thing. I don't know what the statistic is, but how many kids start college and drop out?
I think it's almost half. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I think it's almost half, maybe 40%.
I know it's a bigger percentage now with boys.
Interesting.
Yes. They decide that's not what they want to go into a trade or something else, and then here they've accrued this debt. So,
Right. And they have nothing to show for it.
yeah. Wow, that's a great story, Shelley. What a great way to end. Thank you so much. And
Thank you so much.
I can't wait to support you on getting the word out there.
I so appreciate that. Thank you for all you're doing too, Cheryl.
Well, that's it for today, friend. And thank you so much for joining me. And if you find this podcast an encouragement to you, I would love if you take a minute and leave a review. It's one of the best ways to help other moms find this show. And if you've already left a review, thank you so much. It's so encouraging to me to read what you have to say. And if you have a friend that could use some encouragement today, sometimes just knowing someone is thinking of them and sharing this episode can make all the difference. So I'm so grateful for you and that you're here. And I hope you have a great week. And I will see you back here next time.